Hi friends, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're recapping and chatting about Once Upon a Time, episode 307, Dark Hollow. This episode aired on November 10th, 2013. It was written by Kalinda Vasquez and Andrew Chambliss, and was directed by Guy Ferland. Now, before we get into our recapping and chatting and chaos, and I get the feeling we're going to enjoy talking about this episode a lot more than we enjoyed watching it, if the text messages I received today were any indication. Let's go over a synopsis for the episode. In Storybrooke, 5 days after having successfully enacted the cloaking spell, Belle is still distraught that Rumple left her behind. She feels like there isn't anything she can do to help the team, and now he'll die without her. That is, until Ariel arrives in town with a message from Rumple, asking her to find a particular item that can help them defeat Pan. Belle locates Pandora's box only long enough for her and Ariel to be captured by two more of Pan's followers, who snuck into town before the cloaking spell. They set out to destroy the box, because if they don't, Pan will kill their sister, Wendy. Belle convinces them that if they can give her the box, she can convince Rumple and the rest of our heroes to save their sister too. And in Neverland, Henry is starting to get wary of Pan's motives after his call with his mothers. But Pan can't have that. He needs Henry to believe, so he devises a plan for Henry to find Wendy and see how important he is to what Pan has laid out. Meanwhile, the heroes find a way to get off the island. Emma, Hook, and Neil travel to Dark Hollow to capture Pan's shadow in Neil's star map Coconut, while Snow and Charming travel to find Tink once again. Snow finally confronts David about him not telling her the truth, and they finally start to work together again. When Ariel returns to Neverland with the box in tow, Regina gifts her with the complete control over the magical bracelet, and Rumple agrees to add Wendy to their plan to save Henry and get off the island alive.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
You know what? No. Here's the thing. I'm with Neil. Let me find this line. You traveled to Neverland through a portal on a pirate ship, but you draw the line at a magic coconut. I might not like Neil, but I'm with him on that.
Oh, yeah, but like as soon as you said that, that's why I started giggling, and I am so sorry, but that's all I had in my brain.
I'm aware they trap the shadow in his star map coconut is weird to say. I'm aware. I wrote this script. It's still not the weirdest thing I've ever said in my life compared to
but I'll laugh at anything, in all honesty.
Oh, this is true. Oh, I have a note for our Bob's episode that is based solely on the fact that you laugh at the stupidest things.
Yes. I do laugh at the stupidest things, but at least I find joy in the little things.
That you do.
I really did just start my notes off with this is weird, but okay.
Yeah. Well, we're back in Storybrooke.
Yeah, we are.
We're back in Storybrooke. This is the first time we've seen. Is it the first time we've seen Storybrooke all season? I believe, because the first episode did have the Land Without Magic, in that it had a very brief flashback of Emma giving birth. But this is the first time we've seen Storybrooke all season.
I then wrote, yes, please, tell me who is in the other cage, because of course I want to know that.
Yeah. I remember them revealing that sooner. I don't really know. That's definitely like it just shifted in my mind. I remember seeing her in like the cage sooner.
Oh no,
I don't know.
It's so funny when that happens though, when you're watching a show, because we are still doing our, technically it's a rewatch for me, having Steven watch The Walking Dead, which if you've never tried it, not saying you probably not up your alley, but for anybody out there who's never been like, oh, I don't know if I could watch that. Season 1 and 2 are slow. Mm-hmm. They're important in like information and like really introducing you to the main characters. Season 3 is where it takes off. Season 3 is so fucking good that you're just like, oh, good. Only for me to like look up information on it. And the original showrunner of season 1 and 2 was no longer with the show.
That's why
after that. Oh, he sued for that.
Okay.
So there's a reason it picks up and changes so much. Of course, and also they're based off like graphic novels. So they're comics. Mm-hmm. So that story, using that storyline was really great. I love Leroy so freaking. I was just like, I got Leroy this episode at least. Mm-hmm. Everything will remain normal. Oh look, a mermaid.
They were just so happy to have everything be calm and eating their lunch on the beach, and then a girl just walks out of the ocean.
I mean, and she had to have been cold, but damn.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure. Which, I mean, Leroy did give her his jacket.
I am no better than a man.
It was very sparkly.
But then Leroy and Granny, now you got a dress code? I seem to recall some Ruby outfits that are seared into my brain.
Yep.
Leroy alone carried this episode for me. And then, I wrote a coconut.
Yes, a coconut. A magic coconut.
A magic coconut. So the yelling at you.
Yes. So I was gifted with a lovely text message. Because normally what I get is just my name in all caps. But no, what I got was a preamble of, what's your middle name? I need to yell at you properly.
Pandora's box?
Yeah. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I'm not mad about the usage of Pandora's box. They do kind of use it like a magical carrying case going forward, where like they kind of forget that it does in fact hold all the evils of humanity.
That's my issue. What?
No, they do use it to transport people that don't deserve to be tortured like that just because they have to in the future, which isn't a great usage of it. But given the fact that as I've said, that they do kind of bleed in with Greek mythology with that stuff here. The fact that Pandora's box is involved in the story, that actually doesn't bother me as much, because like that's their usage. They're going to trap Pan in there rather than killing him. They trap him in there. That way he can't do bad things anymore. No one dies. Everyone's happy.
So this is where I have a problem with this.
Okay.
I know plenty about Pandora's box.
Yes.
I'm me.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't know why Pan is the way he is or how powerful he is, but yet you need Pandora's box. And I'm like, could y'all have timed this a little bit better so Pandora's box would make sense? Because I'm just angry right now. I'm like, seriously? We need Pandora's box to defeat Peter Pan. Oh my God, what is the show?
Again, we'll find out.
That's just the sentences I'm saying.
I know. We'll find out everything next week. I promise. There's no more waiting. Next week is Think Lovely Thoughts. Next week we get Pan's backstory and how he became who he is and what it is that he's after. And we kind of see a little bit of the fruition of his plan. And then the rest of the arc is a little bit of the downfall of it. And there's other stuff happening there. But we get a lot of information in the next episode, I do promise you. And I do agree, like looking back on this, the way that they've structured this, we get no inkling other than he's power hungry as to why like this is going the way that it is. Because like with I was thinking with the other arcs, like with 3B especially, like we don't get like all the facts until I would say 316, or we get all the facts from the villain side of things, and you get more as the arc goes on. But like from the beginning, you kind of get your basic idea of why she's a bitch to everybody.
Pan, it's like you went for evil Peter Pan, and then before telling us why he's evil, how powerful he is, anything like that, oh, you need Pandora's box to defeat him. And that's where I'm just kind of like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's a lot of telling you how evil he is without telling you any of the why, which is the why is what we're used to from this show.
Maybe that's why I'm so frustrated, but like because it's Pandora's box. It's not just something that they've made up or you know, something else like that is powerful but just not as powerful. Like you said, this is something that holds all evil.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, you know, Regina and Rumpel, you know, we kind of didn't get a whole lot of backstory as to why they're super evil from the beginning. However, they start out as villains in our lexicon and in our oral histories. So it's okay that we don't get like the why behind it just yet at the very beginning, because it's what you expect out of the character. But with Pan, because he's normally, I mean, he's a hero. He's kind of a demonic hero if we go as far back as the book, because he's not very nice in the book. But it's still not expected that he be evil, so it's a little odder. Maybe that's what the difference is with the other arcs as well, is because the other ones, for the most part, they are the villains in their source material. Yeah. For the most part.
And like, I'm fine not using too much source material. It's just when you see Peter Pan, it's what it is today. Yeah. If you've never read, it makes me think of like Frankenstein. If you've never read the source material, never actually really read the story, even makes me think of Little Mermaid too. Because if you have not read the original Little Mermaid story, check your trigger warnings.
It's real different.
It's real different. It's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but since like, but for like growing up as we did through the 90s and early 2000s, Peter Pan and Little Mermaid and these things, even Frankenstein, if you really look at it, we had some like cutesy Frankenstein stuff made in our time. Yeah, we don't expect this. So seeing evil Peter Pan, I'm like, you got to give me a reason, dude. Like, and you need to not take this many episodes to give me more than, oh, he's this.
Yeah. I would agree.
I'm so angry.
This will tie into what I say a lot about a lot of stuff that goes on like later on in the show. It's a really interesting idea. It just needed better execution.
It definitely needs better execution, because if you're gonna need something as powerful as Pandora's box, I need to know beforehand, like, why it's needed, because it's been used in other things as well. They used I'm pretty sure they did Pandora's box in Charmed, the original Charmed. I told you I'll probably never watch the remake. Like, I don't know if I can. And when you've grown up in the 90s and like literally been raised on that show, it's really hard to watch the remake. I'm gonna be honest.
No, that's totally fair.
And then we go straight into I hate love corners. She could have both, even though Neil is Neil. So dealing with the Pandora's box, and then Neil and Hook just being fucking children. This whole episode, I'm just sitting here like, Lauren, why?
Yeah, the love corner to me only works because I know Mike, Jen, and Colin, like the three of them especially, were/are all really good friends.
Oh, they're great. I love their acting and their vibe.
The chemistry is really good, but like it's the fact of like when Killian, like when he says like whatever he said to Emma about telling Neil, and he goes like, I told him about our dalliance. I'm like, dude, you kissed her once. Let's not blow this out of proportion. Like I'm sure it meant a lot to him. Clearly it did, as it involved his secret. And also his thing was like, he thought Neil had heard the secret. Ah. So like that makes that make a little more sense. Like he thought Neil had heard, but like, it's just like, he's almost the one making more out of it than it was. I mean, I know what happens with the characters eventually, but like in this situation, like to me, I only care any modicum of interest in their love triangle, love corner, what have you, solely because of their friendship, not because of the characters themselves.
Because I even wrote down, why am I attracted to men? Neil and Hook are being children. Because like I had this moment of like, I'm attracted to one of two of these men. Yeah. Y'all stop. You're making this hard. And then back to the fucking Pandora's box. I'm sorry. A dwarf's pickaxe can destroy Pandora's. What is this show?
I mean, given what we know, that isn't the most unsound logic.
It's dumb, but yeah.
It's dumb, but it's not the worst logic. It makes more sense than Henry thinking he can blow up magic with dynamite.
Oh, man. Yeah, you're right. Fuck. I'm sorry. This, like you said, we were going to have so much more fun recording this than watching it.
I think so.
This whole episode has me so... I don't know if you've ever seen me this mad at Once Upon a Time before.
I don't think so. No, I haven't. It's truly delightful because I'm so looking forward to your score now, quite frankly.
I did pick up that it was Wendy before.
Yeah.
They revealed that, thank goodness. And then thank you, Regina, for, saving some points for this episode. Whatever Eric is into these days.
Yes, that complete line. Now you can have legs whenever you want. Or a fin. Whatever Eric's into these days. That's the line that I thought was in the last episode.
And then at the end, I just wrote, ugh, I don't like Pan, but I still don't care. Like, you need to make me care. I don't care.
No, I know. And that's the thing is, like, I say this a lot. The writers, they do such a good job of making you care about characters really quickly. Like, look how quickly you were interested in Mulan and all that. Like, within an episode, you wanted to know what was happening with her.
I love her.
Like, they do such a good job. Like, when, like, I mean, to be fair, to each their own, people love the character Pan. They find him so compelling. That's their prerogative. I don't happen to see it. It's a personal opinion. Opinions are opinions, is what I always say. The fact that you also hate him makes this podcast so much easier.
Can you imagine?
Oh my god, if you liked this character, I would feel out of politeness. I would I'm not gonna bash the character to your face. But I'm gonna subtly pick apart everything.
At this point, I just need a better evil Peter Pan story. Like, I need to read one now because I think
they exist.
I think they exist. I'm pretty sure they do. I know a lot of people are like, ooh, I know this one. I love you guys. I'm not a dark romance reader. More power to you. That's not what I mean.
No.
So maybe more horror.
I'm sure it exists somewhere.
It's gotta exist. I need something like that now just to like help me out a little bit. Obviously I have strong feelings about Pandora's Box.
Clearly.
I can't help it, okay?
It's okay.
We all had our Greek nerdy times, and Pandora's Box was one of my favorite things to read about.
Yeah.
Like I love it. It's one of my favorites. And this is so infuriating.
I know. I'm sure you know this, but for people that don't know this, Pandora's Box was actually originally Pandora's jar.
Yes.
It was changed to a box in a 16th century mistranslation. Either it was mistranslated from the Greek or it was just confused for the vessel. He just confused the vessel for the box in the story of Cupid and Psyche instead. So, for those who do not know, it was not originally a box.
It was a jar.
It was a jar because that makes more sense for ancient Greece.
It does.
So, fun facts, some stuff about the episode before we go into my rants, because I have quite a few of them.
I cannot wait.
So, this episode, Dark Hollow, is named after the Grateful Dead song Dark Hollow, because our showrunners love classic rock. This should be no surprise. There are many episodes I'm now learning are named after classic rock songs.
I'm just thinking, Grateful Dead have very specific fans.
Yet that they do.
You would need that to write an episode like this?
That you would. Dark Hollow apparently was originally sung by the folk singer Bill Browning in 1958, so it was not originally by the Grateful Dead.
Not surprised.
No. This is the only episode of all of season 3 that does not feature the Enchanted Forest in any capacity.
All right.
Going forward, we'll always see it at least once. The international titles this time I found interesting, mainly because, again, only one language took a completely different element from the episode. Most of the translations were like the local translation of the same idea of Dark Hollow, shadows, you had dark emptiness, black hole, kingdom of shadows. But French, black hole. But French being unique because they felt they needed to, they entitled their episode after a completely different element. The French international title translates to the Pandora's Box. They took a completely different element from the episode for their title.
I love the French. I love the French. They don't give a fuck.
I don't know what Dark Hollow would be in French. I have no idea. But they decided, you know what? I love that your episode title is about a specific area and a big scene that happens there. We're going to ignore that.
I am really curious. Cruz Sombre. Sombre? I don't know. It's been a long time. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a choice. No, I like theirs better. I love the French. They're just like, we're going to be really, really literal.
Yeah, we're just going to take we know that your episode is really focused on this one location and that's what the title is. We're just going to ignore that and do whatever we want instead.
We're going to spoil in the title just the
exactly
secret item.
Exactly.
That you don't find out what it is until like halfway through the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the French for you.
Yep. So Happy's pickaxe is the one that continually gets stolen. It's always Happy's, weirdly enough. That's the one that John Darling attempts to use to destroy Pandora's Box. And it's also the same one that Greg Mendel stole in the season 2 finale.
Come on, Happy. Keep track of your shit.
It's always Happy. One thing I did notice this time, there's a teddy bear keychain on their car, which is foreshadowing that they are actually John and Michael.
It was really, I picked up on it pretty quickly, but at the same time, I was just like, they look so like dark and brooding through half of it, and it's the Darling brothers.
Yeah,
and it's the cutest thing in hindsight. You're just like, they're angry. They want to help their sister.
They do. And our last fun fact that we pulled out this was a little bit of a pause and read because we do see a map of the state of Maine as they're driving up. So based off of their map, Storybrooke is more or less along the lines with Thomaston, Maine, which is, I've been a little generous with the way that I've been doing distances of things because I've been using Portland as our, amalgamation for Storybrooke. So Thomaston is about an hour and a half north of Portland-ish.
Okay.
And so it's about 2 hours north of where I go in Maine. But this is my thing with it is, why couldn't they have just moved it to the actual coast? Because technically speaking, Storybrooke is on the ocean. It's not on a bay.
Yeah.
But Thomaston is technically on the St. George River. So I don't really know why they didn't just move the line on the prop to the edge of just to the edge of the state. I don't know. That kind of bothers me.
I love that I'm like, Pandora's box makes me angry, and you're like, the map.
But the map, though. That's me. That's what I like to... We know this already. I like to obsess over the geography. The dark hollow thing, it makes a lot of sense. Like, the shadow, that's where the shadows go, that, you know, that it collects. We'll see what kind of... Not I mean, where the shadow came from, but we'll see the distinction between Pan Shadow, like this shadow, and others in the next episode as well. I promise you, a lot happens in the next episode.
I'm actually angry. I have to wait a few days to watch. I'm genuinely angry.
At least for our schedule, it's less time than normal.
That is true.
By a day.
Just gotta make it through the work week.
There you go. But because, like, using the shadow to fly off the island, it's not the worst plan in existence.
Mm-mm.
Like,
I mean, how you get that many people off the island like that?
They're basically gonna fuse the shadow with the sail on the Jolly Roger, not like remake the Pegasus wing sail, but basically the shadow is just gonna kind of like seep into a sail, and now it can fly.
Okay,
I mean that's not the stupidest way of getting it, because rather than that, you're gonna have like 20 people hang on to the feet of a shadow. Does that make more sense to you?
It's funnier. It's like the barrel of monkeys.
Dude, that's basically yeah. Please tell me you thought of this when Belle turned on the Sandalwood. I can't think of any other way to describe this. Was, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay. Because, like, that's all that it was. I did like Ariel still learning what things are and everything with Belle. Because, like, this version of Ariel hasn't spent any time with humans. So, like, everything is still new to her. And it's really unfortunate we don't really see too much of her going forward. Honestly, we'll see. She's going to come back... If she's not, I don't think she's in any more episodes of this arc, but she'll be in 317. And then, I don't know, when do we see? We do see her again. That's not the last we see of her. Maybe a little bit in season 4. We don't see a whole lot of her anymore. Her story's more or less done at this point.
Understandable.
She's a quick side character. She wasn't meant to hang around, basically, is what I always say.
They used her what they needed her for. Exactly.
Which is, again, to their detriment of, like, people really loved her version of Ariel. And, like, what do you mean she's gone? Like, well, that's
what they do.
That's what they do. Seeing my note again about Jen, Colin, and Michael's friendship. Because from the video that we're going to do a game later, it's going to be a lot of fun. But it's from the 2013 MTV SDCC interviews that they did. And part of it was just reminded me of, like, there's one specific part where, like, they were talking about, like, the relationship they had on set, and it was Jen, the way that the interview was set up, they did 2 of them, one with Jen, Colin, and Michael, and then one with, it was Ginny, Josh, Lana, and Emily were the other ones that were there. So they did their own interview. Theirs has its own brand of chaos. But for our first group, Michael mentioned something about, like, how, like, he'll just, like, look over at Jennifer Morrison and she'll just fluff his aura, and the guy was like, what is this? Which essentially what it is her just waving her hand around your head, fluffing your aura. And I mean, it's a hilarious thing just to watch them all egg each other on. And, like, they have a really adorable friendship, but it's a very bizarre thing just to watch her fluff the air around someone's head.
That's not what my brain went to when you said fluff.
No, I'm sure your brain went somewhere else. I'm absolutely certain of this fact.
I'll keep it PG.
When have you ever done that?
I don't know.
Why start now? This is episode 97. Seriously, why start now?
I know, right? So,
but with everything, with that love corner relationship, Killian's line of, when I win your heart, Emma, and I will win it, it won't be because of some trickery, it will be because you want me, is probably the only actually romantic thing he's said since he turned into Killian the lovesick puppy Jones.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't really like him all lovesick. Like, I need the banter back.
Right? Like, this is what I say. Like, I feel like to make their relationship work, I think they find a better balance of it in season 4. But for right now, when he's kind of trying to win her heart a little bit, it's the shaving off of personality corners just to make them fit better. And I don't like it.
Like, they fit better when they have the banter.
Exactly. So it's just like, just stop with the making him kind of like the lovesick. I mean, it happens, sure, but, like, I feel like she would have even still given him more of a chance, because it's almost like he's trying to be what he thinks she wants, like the honorable person, which it's good to be more honorable, but like you can keep the banter with the honor. Like the honorable thing that he did was get them all there, make sure they're all safe, make sure they get off the island safely. That's the honorable thing. The being the lovesick puppy of like, I thought our kiss meant something. Like my dude, like
she walked away right after and told you it was the only time it was going to happen. What do you mean you thought it meant something?
Like, yeah, like it was a thank you because you saved her father's life.
That was about it.
That was pretty much it. And he did the honorable thing, and she did. She's like, thank you for telling us that, like, you chose your friend. You told us that Neil was still alive, and we went to go get him, even though you knew it would possibly do something. Like, that is the honorable thing to do. And it's important to maintain that, but also, he can still be snarky.
I need Snarky Hook again. Can
So
someone piss him off?
Well, I mean, we'll see that in season... Oh, God. 312 is going to be so fucking funny.
Oh, goodness.
It's a little, but this thing is like 312 is a good balance of the snark and the lovesick puppy, but also Killian gets so easily offended by Henry, and it's kind of hilarious.
Oh, I'm ready for that.
Like it's him bantering other people, but it's him bantering with the 12-year-old.
Yep, I'm here for that. That'll be funny. That'll
be a lot of fun.
Oh, which I have to. Speaking of 12-year-old, I can't help but laugh a little bit. I thought of you recently. While we're watching The Walking Dead, of course, there's a kid character. He's like between 10 and 12. I don't remember his age. And I just, because we do this, I can't help but bug my husband now when we watch things. And of course, I'll be like, who's your favorite so far? And he's just like, I don't know. I don't really have much of a favorite. I think he likes Daryl. I was like, is there anybody you don't like? He's like, yeah, the kid. I was like, why? He's just like, I don't know. He's just really annoying. And I'm like, so you mean a kid being a kid? He had no idea what I was referring to. He's like, but no. He's just like, yeah, the kid being a kid annoys me. I'm like, I am married to Lauren. Just tall and bearded now. Like, what the fuck?
Here's the thing is, I don't get mad at Henry when he acts like a kid. Other people get mad at Henry because they think he acts too young for how he looks, but that's because at that point when people do that, the actor is 16 and the character is 13.
Just so weird.
Yeah, they didn't really think about how that was gonna. I mean, they didn't account for Jared growing tall very quickly, because
you can't really judge how puberty is gonna go.
No, but what really works to their benefit is the timing of Jared's voice starting to drop. It's gonna really work to their benefit towards the end of this arc because it's happening now.
That's interesting.
His voice is a little deeper. Like it's just like every time we see him, it's a little deeper. But it's gonna work. It's gonna work really well to their benefit. I mean, it's gonna work a little to their detriment because they're gonna do a flashback that they try to claim is from before the pilot, and he's him now, and he sounds like he does right now. He does not look 10 anymore. But for what's gonna happen in the last couple episodes of this arc, the kid starting puberty basically is gonna work to their benefit. That sounds creepy.
It does.
So I want to talk a little bit. I'll go back into my rant about the boys fighting over the lighter, but I want to talk a little bit about Snow and Charming and how this annoys me.
Their whole story, like I don't think I actually wrote a note about them simply because their storyline is so annoying right now.
Yeah. Snow has every right to be angry.
Yes.
Completely. David was stupid. However, always. But however, I feel like the way that it's being resolved currently, like there'll be a different resolution obviously as the arc ends, but the way it's being resolved right now was what I wrote down. After so long of fighting for their family and specifically their daughter, I don't like that Snow is so easy to say she would stay on Neverland with David forever. Yes, her daughter is all grown up, but the more she says she'd be willing to stay, the more I side with Charming. He didn't want Snow to feel like she had to choose. He didn't want their daughter to lose both of her parents after only just finding them again.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
So, like, him not telling her and, like, until his plan, I guess, was not to tell her until it was too late and that she would just leave anyway. He didn't want Snow to feel like she had to choose between him and Emma again.
My brain, as you're going through this, and it's such a serious conversation about like their relationship dynamic and everything else, my brain's just kind of drifting to how is he going to get off the island? And all my brain decided to jump to was, I've got a jar of dirt. I've got a jar of dirt.
I've got a jar of dirt.
Is this how they're going to do this? Because I swear, if that's how they do it.
It's a little bit of a Deus Ex Machina, but it's fine, honestly.
Okay. You get what I'm saying? That like, that's all my brain went to, because it's him being like, oh, look, we could put this be spot for a good hut. And I'm just like, Charming, shut up. But at the same time, it makes me think of like how they're going to get Charming off the island. And
Yeah.
my brain goes to jar of dirt.
Yep. Which is fair. So, the fighting over the lighter.
Why do I like men?
I mean, Snow was right in the fact that the two of them have feelings for her makes that a very dangerous group. Although I didn't say this before, but I remember before right before they find Dark Hollow, I forgot. I never noticed, I guess, when Jen takes the cutlass out of like her, like, when she unsheaths it, Colin like bends backwards because she almost hits him with it. I don't know if that was scripted or not. Either way, it was hilarious, but it's just the fact of like, boys fighting over the ability to light a lighter. Seriously, now is not the time to impress Emma. And look at that, you lose the lighter down a hole. Good job. This really isn't the time for a my lighter is better than your lighter competition, especially since you're both about to die.
My lighter's better than your lighter. And they couldn't even get it to work.
No, because it is a place where all light is snuffed out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, naturally, yes, magic is really the only way to light the candle. And Emma, Regina's magic lessons have been paying off.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. I like that part.
Yeah.
Neil being like surprised that she was learning magic was kind of interesting. Because I'm just like,
he knew that she had magical abilities because from the there's a line from the Miller's daughter when she's drawing the line with the invisible chalk, and he goes to her. He's like, I didn't know you're magical. She just goes, oh my, are you being judgy about this? Because you're not allowed to have opinions about surprises, Mr. Son of Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So, like, he knew that she had magical abilities because he was a part of, like, that thing. He saw her create, the protection spell. When she said, I can't cast a spell, I can spell a spell. Oh, shit, Emma Swan.
I would hope you could.
I really would. You'll appreciate, and this is probably my last funny note, why did Belle watch Ariel leave in the least heterosexual way possible?
Like, when she brought her hands to Ariel, that was gay.
That was not straight. That was absolutely not straight.
Not at all. I literally was just like, another sapphic, like, couple we could have had. Like, Belle and Little Mermaid sounds amazing. It's
another thing if Emily has a lot of chemistry with it. What's really funny is the probably the funniest, not really charactership, but I mean, I wrote it anyway. Because the characters didn't spend a whole lot of time together. But the actorship, when you meet Rebecca Mader's character in the next season, it's another one of the real world or real person pairings that's like not really a thing that anyone ever speculated about, but it's the fact of like the actors fed into it. So it was Bexley was their ship, because also Rebecca and Emily worked together on Lost, so they knew each other before Bex came on to Once Upon a Time anyway, so their friendship was just kind of already there. So Bexley was born when she joins, and it's just really funny because also their height difference is hilarious because Bex is tall and Emily's very not tall. But just their whole I can see it on your face, but a whole lot of their friendship is just very funny, especially for when Emily gets pregnant, because like Bex will tell stories about how she like protects Emily, and like it's all very sweet.
Which is so funny because like when Tinkerbell showed up on this episode again, I was like, Liv, what are you doing here? You have melanin again.
Very little traces of it, yes.
Very little traces of it. More so than she does in iZombie.
This is true. So, what'd you score this episode? I'm really excited to hear this.
So, I gave plot 6.
Okay.
Because there was some, like, it moved the story forward.
Yeah, I realize we haven't talked at all about the actual parts of the episode that involved Pan or Henry or Wendy at all this episode.
No,
we don't care.
I don't care. Like I said, my last line, I don't like Pan, and I just still don't care.
Which is fair.
Sorry,
I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going.
No, you're right. And then I gave character and personal both 5s, so this got a 16.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, God.
I gave plot a 7 because, again, I think this does move the plot along. It's annoying, but it does move the plot along. They have a way to capture Pan. They have a way off the island. Pan is enthralling Henry further and further. Plot does move forward. I gave it a 5 for character, mostly because the men fighting over the lighter and Snow and Charming willingly letting their daughter leave without them. I don't think that's a great idea. Oh, I'm nervous to say my personal score.
Oh, no.
Say hello to our first 0.
Oh, I love it. I love this.
This is an episode that, quite frankly, when given the option to, I skip.
I would. I'm with you on this, though. I would skip this.
So this gets a 12.
I can't. Wow.
But
I'm
I
higher than
honestly,
yours.
I always knew that this was going to have our first 0. I always knew.
It's just so much happens, but nothing really does.
So much happens, but it's still just so annoying at the same
All
time.
of it.
So, but to make this episode a little better, because I knew our scores were going to be low, so I'm like, let's have more fun with this. So don't open the script because I just opened the thing, so don't open the script, because the questions will be there and I don't want you to look at them.
Okay, I can't see them. Thankfully, when I did go to it, it was literally just your synopsis.
Gotcha. Okay,
and that was it. I was like, oh, thank goodness, go back.
So when I mentioned before the aura fluffing and all that relationship, so part of the MTV San Diego Comic-Con, yes, I know what you think when I say that. Quiet.
No, I'm just, no. My brain actually went, I can't wait to fluff your aura one day. I'm in rare form tonight, man.
You really are. So part of what MTV did was they always had a game called Geeks and Posers, which I mentioned before. That was the one that I mentioned with a later year that ended in the cast doing like the Pokemon theme song as a spoken word poem, basically.
I love that.
I mentioned that one. So this time, so like I said before, the teams were Jen, Colin, and Michael, and the other team was Jenny, Josh, Lana, and Emily. Spoiler alert, Lana and Emily answer exactly 0 questions. They have no idea what's happening here. So it was a series of questions to gauge if you are a geek or a poser at Comic-Con. So we're going to play a little game, and I'm going to test Katie and see how she does compared to the cast of Once Upon a Time.
I don't think I'm going to do that well. I'm scared.
I think you're going to do better than you think.
Okay.
So also, keep in mind, these questions are from 2013. Are you ready? What are Wolverine's claws made out of?
Adamantium.
You are correct. So this one, Colin got this one. No question, like no hesitation, just said it.
I did just see Deadpool and Wolverine.
There's also that. The other team, literally, none of them got it. They were all just like, what? They were guessing a bunch of things. Lana's response was, are they real? Like, she meant, like, out of, like, bone or something. Which, to be fair, I guess, depending on which Wolverine movie you're watching, yes. But that's not what he was going for. He was going for adamantium, and they just went, like, what is that, a metal? And then the moderator is like, well, it's a fake metal, but yeah. Okay. What's Superman's real name?
Clark Kent.
Not that one.
Not that. What? Oh, Kal-El, which is actually my nephew's name.
There you go.
Quite literally.
So to be fair, again, that one, Colin got it. Michael said Clark Kent first. And then on the other team, Ginny said it very quickly. She was just like, yes, I got this.
Yeah, but no, my nephew's name is Kal-El.
Okay. Interesting
fun name.
Yeah. What is a TARDIS?
That's what Doctor Who drives.
Mm-hmm. It's a time machine. That was one that Ginny and Josh both answered at the same time, and Colin was just Colin's also, he's Irish, so if he had gotten that, he should know this one.
I mean, Josh was in it, so...
Josh was like, he's like, one of us might have been in Doctor Who.
I was about to say.
He was, in fact, in Silence in the Library. You definitely should know this one. What's the name of the dragon from The Hobbit?
Smaug.
There you go. Everyone.
I almost felt. I came off of me like I'm offended.
You're getting nervous now.
Like
this one comes with the funniest story. But where is Thor from?
You what? Asgard.
Okay. Thank you.
Wait, that was a question.
At the time, I believe they were filming the second Thor movie. That's why it was a question.
Okay.
But so this was one where at this point, Colin had been answering them all really quickly because he knew them. And so at this point, he was just refusing to answer anymore. He's like, I'm going to stop carrying this team because you guys got to chip in here somewhere. He's just like, for a while. And then the moderator's like, we're not moving forward until you give us an answer. And he's like, so he said, from Asgard. And then they went, who'd know that? Josh Dallas would know that because Josh Dallas is in the first Thor movie. Then Josh is the one that answered for the second team, and he went and he made a joke. He's like, and that's why he wasn't in the second one because it just timing wise with filming, it would not have worked out, which is why he got recast as Zachary Levi.
Oh yeah,
you should definitely know this one. What district is Katniss Everdeen from?
District 11. No, sorry, 12.
There you go. I was getting nervous there.
My brain went a weird direction. I've had Rue on my mind lately.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
because of the Acolyte.
Gotcha.
I don't know why my brain did that. No, she's from District 12. I'm a dumb bitch.
Yeah, she is.
But no, Rue's been on my brain because of the Acolyte. So that's probably why my brain's like 11. No. Wrong person.
There you go. That one, by this point, Lana was just kind of laughing. She's like, I have no idea. None of these made any sense to her. Ginny at first said Pan Am, and then she thought for a second, and then she went, wait, no, District 12. with the other team, Jen basically guessed every single number between 1 and 11. And he was trying to be like, go higher. And then Michael randomly guessed 12 and got very excited. So technically they got it right. Technically not. But I gave them the point anyway. And then this is the one that I think you're not going to get because you've never seen this before. And to be fair, it was when he asked, it was specific about what happened that season. But that won't make sense because this is not 2013. But which character on Game of Thrones has lost their penis? That's a thing. That's a thing that happened.
Specifically because of Bob's Burgers, I'm going to say Hodor.
No, it was not Hodor. No, okay. that was Theon Greyjoy.
Bob Door, bye-bye.
Bob Door, bye.
No, it was Bob Door, third wheel, bye-bye. Yeah.
So technically speaking, the very last bit of it was he asked them all to do their best pissed off Chewbacca noise. I'm not going to ask you to do that because quite frankly, it would be a pain in the ass to edit. So, you did about as well as all of them because each team got one question wrong, and you also I wouldn't know
anything with Game of Thrones.
No, that's the thing is like you wouldn't know the Game of Thrones one. I'm like that's why I'm like you're gonna do better than I think you think you're going to because there's only one of these that you know nothing about.
Would there have been any of these that you wouldn't have known?
In 2013, I hadn't seen Game of Thrones, so that I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
I think the rest of these I also at the time I
don't think you would have known about Smaug, would you?
I would have. I have a vague understanding.
As we're reading it,
this is true. Yes, our next this one. Yeah, this will be out before the Hobbit episode goes out. So because that'll be out in December. So yeah. So at some point, while you listen to this, I probably will have already read the Hobbit. So that's our next book club book. Join our Patreon.
I'm making Lauren read a dragon book. This is your second dragon book from me.
Yeah. And to be fair, the book that I wrote is considered a dragon book. So 3 if you count that one. I wrote it. It is a dragon book. It counts.
It counts, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. So based off of the rules of the game, I would say you are officially a geek. And I honestly, considering that like your reason for not knowing Game of Thrones is because you just haven't actually seen any of Game of Thrones, I really think you did better than the entirety of the cast of Once Upon a Time.
I mean, Josh Dallas and I can go at each other for a while, probably on some geeky shit.
There you go. You, Josh, and Colin, basically, because Colin he was very quick.
I would gladly go back and forth with Colin about geeky shit in a heartbeat. Please, let's set that up. Let's go.
Do you hear that, Colin O'Donoghue? Challenge extended
from 2013. He's probably like, I did that a decade ago.
Well, he posted on Instagram one time, I guess sometime in the last 2 years, that it was the 10th anniversary of his first appearance on Once Upon a Time, and someone commented, "Wow, I feel old now," and he responded back, "How do you think I feel?"
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Bob's Burgers Season 6, Episode 5, Nice Capades, and Episode 6, The Cook, the Steve, the Gale, and Her Lover. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.